Friday, May 9th, 2025. What a crazy couple weeks it's been. Green all across the board, at least at the time that I'm making this video. And so I want to do a little bit different of a video today. I just want to give a little bit more perspective, a little bit of perspective as to how I'm going to play the next few weeks and who knows, maybe months. This is short-term analysis. This is not long-term. This is just short-term, what I'm thinking through in terms of Bitcoin and altcoins. And so before we dive on in, how about could you do me a favor? Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like this content. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get on into this. So Bitcoin broke $100,000 on Thursday, the day that I'm making this video. I know. Okay. So over $100,000. Maybe some short-term resistance if we pull up the Bollinger Bands. Let's do that real quick and see. All right, upper Bollinger on the daily is still actually much higher. Oh, this is the weekly chart, excuse me. Let me zoom into the daily real quick. You can see we're right there. So if there's a point of resistance, maybe it's here, maybe it's 102 and change, or maybe we're just going to slice through all of this. And again, very short term. But fantastic price action the last few weeks. You've seen the M2 money supply charts. You've seen that as of right now, we are following that perfectly. And so where are we going from here? Well, I wanted to zoom out to the weekly because what I want to draw your attention to is a trend line that I have been paying attention to for quite a while now. And it is just this trend line connecting the double peak of 2021 to the fact that we hit this level perfectly as resistance on the day of the inauguration and got rejected there. And then are we going to go up to this level again? Maybe we'll wick higher. Who knows? Maybe we'll wick higher, get up to 115. Maybe even my friend Devin's target of 118. And then personally, I think that's going to be a local top. Now, is that going to be the peak for 2025? I'm warming up to this idea that we might have a run at the end of the year. It depends on some other charts that I'm going to show you, in particular the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. Where are we going with that? So I am going to show those charts. But, with sell in May and go away in mind, not that we have to follow that rule and we must sell in May. My suspicion is that we would get up to this level and that around that time would just be a good time to take our feet off the gas for the summer. Maybe we would chop, or maybe we dip a little bit in range for the summer. I'd still expect summer to be very boring, summer in the Northern Hemisphere at least. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, but 115, 115 or so for Bitcoin. And then a big thing that I've been saying was with Bitcoin dominance, that once we crossed a new all-time high, we would see a moment of time, a brief period of time when altcoins would outperform Bitcoin. And so I have this drawn out here. You see a 12.64% drop in Bitcoin dominance from November to December, a span of just a few weeks here. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something similar this time around, which would take us to the upper 50s, something like 58% or so. If it goes lower than that, fantastic. But around the time Bitcoin dominance, if it does get under 60%, I'm going to be very cautious, and seeing it get to 58% or so, we'll see. I mean, a big thing I'm paying attention to, I know this is crazy, but number of viewers on my live stream on TikTok. If we get to 1,000 again, will have been the fourth time, and this time I'm exiting. All right, we've gotten to 1,000 people on my live stream on TikTok 3 times, and every time it was within 24 hours of a local top at least. So what would change my perspective on that for the remainder of this year? I'm sure that you're curious to hear about that. It really does have to do with the stock market. I mean, look at where we are right now. It's been very green lately. Is this a V-shaped recovery, or is this just a retrace to a lower high? As of right now, my bias is that the S&P 500 is going to retrace to a lower high. The Dow Jones, the Nasdaq. So S&P's right there. It's very close. I'm looking at the SPY ETF. Let me get to S&P. Not only is it right there, but I mean, if you also see, it's the 702 retrace from this swing high to swing low. This is the time psychologically when dumb money is going to be like, oh, we're back. It's game on. And so can we break through this? Oh my goodness, my perspective for the rest of the year changes dramatically. But this is about the time that people are going to be thinking, oh, we are so back. And are we back? I'm not sure. I want to be a little bit more cautious than that. I don't want to get sucked in to this mindset that we are absolutely back. Now, the NASDAQ is a little bit ahead of actually it's not, never mind. It's pretty much in the same spot as the S&P 500. And now, I mean, we already did break through this before, but it's at the 4.236 extension from the 2000 .com bubble burst is where also the 200-day moving average is sitting right at this moment. So please, again, can we break through that? Can this be a V-shaped recovery? My goodness, game on. But we're going to have to wait and see. Now, Bitcoin dominance does look pretty favorable right now. I mean, the candle, at least today, is showing us, hopefully, I mean, wouldn't it be amazing if yesterday was the peak? What would be a reason for 2 days ago to have been the peak is, the Ethereum Pectra upgrade launched on Thursday, and Ethereum has responded very well to that, very well. And Ethereum has already shown some bottoming structure in breaking up that structure, and now it's in an uptrend. And so I think we do have a little bit of room to go here for Ethereum. I would love to see it continue to climb. And man, could we have a dream scenario? I'm calling this a dream scenario where Ethereum short term could get above $3,000. I don't know if it has that kind of juice in it, but if so, that would be huge. Now, looking at Ethereum right now, it's at a double point of rejection here. You can see, I mean, we had a trend line forming from December to February, and then we deviated from that and had an even more depressing trend line forming from February to April, and Ethereum bottomed out under $1,400 in April, and now it's over $2,000. But now it's back up to this trend line and this. I think that was what peak was that? That was around the 2023 peak for Ethereum. So I think that this is short term for the weekend at least. It's going to offer some level of resistance. But otherwise, Ethereum looks very strong right at this moment. So hopefully we can keep this going. And if so, if Ethereum can start outperforming Bitcoin, I mean, let's look at the Bitcoin ETH chart. Really no evidence yet that this has happened. I mean, it's pretty clear here that, something like that we need to see a break of the downtrend. We need to see a higher high formed, and it hasn't happened yet. So we're a little early, but things do look promising for sure. So what would happen? Bitcoin breaks an all-time high. Bitcoin dominance moves down. That would be a very exciting move. That would be an opportunity to make multiple X's on some altcoins. Does that mean you buy those altcoins now? Yesterday was a really hot day. Let's see what Friday brings. I'm personally waiting for a little bit of a dip. I don't want to FOMO right now. Maybe over the weekend or early next week, we'll get some opportunities. But a lot of altcoins are still at incredible values. I mean, here's a meme coin, Brett. Brett has a long way to go. It's up 32% at the moment that I'm making this video. But there's a lot of altcoins that still have a long way to go. Some gaming cryptos in particular have done very well over the last few weeks. Let me get to Beam here. Beam, there's a long way to go for Beam to not hit an all-time high, but to just get back to its December peak. I could show you a lot of different cryptos that there's still plenty of room, even though Bitcoin is back above $100,000. So if we're going to see, again, this move down in Bitcoin dominance, there's You find the right coin, good luck. You find the right coin, there's a lot to gain even now. A lot of them are still, they've been suppressed. I mean, think about this. The first time Bitcoin broke $100,000, Bitcoin's dominance was around, where was that? Around 58%. January, Bitcoin hit a new all-time high. Bitcoin dominance was more like 59%. March, Bitcoin dominance, etc. Right now, here's my point. Right now, Bitcoin dominance is at 65%. It got above 65% 2 days ago. And so for us to get back to even where we were in November with Bitcoin going even higher in price, there's a lot of potential right now. The only thing that I would request, not financial advice, is that you don't get too sucked in, because the thing that I'm going to say, I'll say this over and over again, is that this environment that we are in right now is not as favorable to altcoins seeing big explosive moves as it was in 2021 or 2018. Maybe at some point, I do suspect at some point between now and the 2028 halving, the stars will align. But we'll see. So anyway, money to be made short term. Money to be made short term. Now is the time, in my opinion, to buy the dips, to DCA, and to hold on for dear life for the time being. But that is all I have for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace.